Tell me about this handsome knight.
So he is a Yorkist in the Wars of the Roses. You can tell because he's got this SS chain. So he's on the winning side.
Right. Okay.
And which is very, very lucky because I mean, had he been a Lancastrian, he'd probably have. Am I going the wrong way around? No, he's a Lancastrian.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, completely wrong. He's a Lancastrian. Yeah, he backed the right side. I think it was a matter of luck, really, wasn't it, more than anything?
Well, probably. I think that's the same with any war, isn't it, really?
Yeah. But I love these things.
Yeah.
These people are the ancestors of George Washington, the Queen, and bizarrely David Cameron.
Really?
They had so many sons and daughters that inevitably people can trace their roots back to these people.
It's amazing. I love his haircut.
I know, it's great.
It's the worst haircut I've ever seen in my life.
It's very medieval.
But the armour's amazing.
I always think of Philip Larkin's An Arundel Tomb when I look at these things, even though they're too late for an Arundel Tomb, which was earlier. And their faces aren't blurred. You can see side by side their faces blurred. But
so was he a local knight, baron, lord?
Yeah. He'd have been a local knight. He just lucked out by being on the right side, which is the same as Lancastrian rather than Yorkist. I mean, the aristocracy in the Wars of the Roses suffered hideously, and you couldn't be neutral in the Wars of the Roses. You had to pick a side. Certainly, if you were a toff, and pretty much if you worked in their estates because you were bound by your lord. So people were dragged into this conflict, and if you lost big time. Like after the Battle of Tota, the survivors, the losing side were hanged, drawn, and quartered.
Yeah. Rather unfortunate, really, isn't it? But the nature of medieval warfare.
Yeah, horrible.
So, fair. Yeah.
This stained glass comes from Sulgrave Manor, and Sulgrave Manor was where George Washington's family lived in Northamptonshire, and so Americans should make a pilgrimage to see this stuff. Because you can see, I think, these are the origins of the Stars and Stripes flag in the Washington Press.
Right, okay.
You see the Stars and the Stripes anyway. Stars and Bars.
Yeah.
Although, are those pelicans? No, they're not pelicans.
I'm assuming they're swans.
Are they swans, are they?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they look like swans, don't
Washington and Knight?
Well, swans are the bird of nobility, aren't they?
Yeah. So, yeah, these are gorgeous.
Yeah. And there are other cool things as well. There are other cool things.
Right, so, go ahead.
These are late medieval wood carvings, and they are extraordinary. So you can see this chap dressed like something out of the Canterbury Tales.
Yep.
And he's got a bear on a chain. This person's completely pissed. He's drinking out of he's on his back.
The horn, yeah.
This is...
He's in armour as well.
Is he in armour?
Oh, very much so, yeah.
You can see the riveting on his armour. Very well observed. So he's drunk, and then you've got... Is that a dog or a bear?
It looks like a boar. It looks like a pig. Look at the tusk.
Some form of beast.
Because it's got its head buried in this cauldron, you see. So
is that?
Meanwhile,
I suppose.
Here is a cat playing a fiddle, or a medieval fiddle.
Is that a cat? Oh, I suppose. Yeah, look at the paws. Yeah, it must be.
Yeah. God, the paws are very well observed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Very well done. And then you've got the couple in their bed.
Oh, yeah.
And
Theresa May needs to censor that.
And there are all these weird things that I think one couldn't understand without a bestiary at hand.
Yeah.
There's more creatures here. There's a winged
dragon
creature there.
It's the Welsh dragon, isn't it?
No, it wouldn't be Welsh dragon.
No, it'd be English.
Well,
St. George.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably...
It's the same design.
See, here's a horned beast. Two horned beasts here. Look at those.
Oh my goodness.
It's like something you'd see out of Beowulf.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, like Grendel.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. This is one of the great things about England.
Blimey, look at
Is
this
that you
guy.
have this stuff in churches.
Yeah. Look at that
That's a bit
face.
scary, isn't it?
It's horrific. It's just...
Yes, it is. It's having his eye poked out, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we don't know what this means because we haven't got a medieval best. Stained glass.
Oh, it's very difficult.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's quite incredible, actually. It's
I
Eve
mean,
with the serpent,
you
is
think
it?
that's probably from the 13th century, and you think about
Yeah.
about how Audubon's bird art is celebrated. But look at that. How do you do that on?
Spectacular.
Oh. And it makes me imagine what England must have looked like in the Middle Ages when all the statuary in churches was painted.
See, and everyone assumes it must have been gloomy and dull.
Oh.
And all we had was beans and toast, according to Mike Stutchery.
Well, he's a history teacher.
Yeah, well, he was.
He was, so I think he'd know.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, excuse me, Michael, what do you know?
Yeah.
And we stole those beans from the continent.
Yeah.
It's just an observation.
Coat of arms of the Holy Roman Emperor.
So you've got that. I think that writing is in Latin.
Yeah, it's Latin.
And then where else do we have it? Actually, most of it is in English, which surprises me. I thought the words in Latin. This is Latin here. Right, Latin there.
Dear Americans, we have things on our floors that are older than your entire country.
Exactly.
100 miles might be a long way in England, but 100 years is a bloody long time in America.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Look, so you've got this 1681. So they're into Latin by this stage. They're approaching the kind of the classical phase of where you start getting. We're heading towards that period where you get neoclassical buildings and stuff. But in Elizabethan times, look, you've got. They like English.
See, this strikes me as very Catholic, but it's like the young children up there with the skulls that they're resting upon, the memento mori kind of thing.
Yeah, it does strike me as kind of Catholic. Macabre, moribund, dying to progressivism.
They're pretty rustic.
It's glorious though, isn't it?
So there we are. This is probably the oldest thing in the church, this font. God knows how old that is. 11th century, maybe? There we are.
I love that the Old English is still readable though.
Strikes me as
And that's
the Holy Roman Emperor.
That's very, yeah, that is, isn't it? And let this be a lesson to you. Look, thou shalt do no murder.
Oh my goodness.
Massive
Just
book of
in
commentary.
case you were tempted.
What's it say about stealing though?
Well,
Thou
shalt
shalt
not
not steal. Oh God.
And then there on the more modern Bible is thieves beware.
It's almost like God knew what I was thinking.
Yeah.